Hello everybody, what is up? Time for another episode of Jesse's Collectible Showcase, and today I'm going to be reviewing the contents of a gift that my friend got me. It is a copy of the last Will and Testament of Elvis Presley. Scooch this seat back because paper is pretty long. The introduction begins, I, Elvis Presley, a resident and citizen of Shelby County, Tennessee, being of sound mind and of disposing memory, do hereby make and publish and declare this instrument to be my last will and testament, hereby revoking any and all wills and consignals by me at any time heretofore made. Item 1 is the debts and taxes. He directed his executor, hereinafter named, to pay all of his matured debts and his funeral expenses, as well as the costs of the administration of his estate as soon as the death is practicable. I further direct that all his estate, inheritance, transfer, and succession taxes which are payable by reason of my death, whether or not with respect to property passing under this will, be paid out of my residuary estate, and I hereby waive on behalf of my estate any right to recover from any person any part of such taxes so paid. My executor, in his sole discretion, may pay for my domiciliary estate all or any portion of the costs and ancillary administration and similar proceedings in other jurisdictions. Item 2. Instructions concerning personal property. I anticipate that included as a part of my property and estate at the time of my death will be tangibles, personal property to various kinds, characters, and values, including trophies and other items accumulated by me during my professional career. I hereby specifically instruct all concerned that my executor, herein appointed, shall have complete freedom and discretion to disposal of any and all such property so long as he shall act in good faith and within the best interest of my estate and my beneficiaries, and his discretion so exercised shall not be subject to question by anyone whatsoever. I hereby expressly authorize my executor and my trustee respectively and successively to prevent I suck at reading today. To permit my beneficiary of any and all trusts created hereunder to enjoy and specie the use or benefit of any household goods, chattels, or any other tangible personal property, exclusive of choices in action, cash, stocks, bonds, or other securities, which either my executor or my trustee may receive in kind, and my executor and my trustee shall not be liable for any consumption, damage, or injury or loss of the tangible property so used, nor shall the beneficiaries of any trusts hereunder or their executors or administrators be liable for any consumption, damage, injury to, or loss of any tangible personal property so used. Item 3. Real estate. If I'm the owner of any real estate at the time of my death, I instruct and empower my executor and trustee, as the case may be, to hold such real estate for investment or to sell same or any portion thereof, as my executor or trustee shall in the sole judgment determine to be for the best interest of my estate and the beneficiaries thereof. Item number 4. Residuary trust. After payments of all debts, expenses, and taxes, as directed under item I hereof I give, devise, and bequeath all the rest, residue, and remainder of my estate, including all lapsed legacies and devises, and any property over which I have a power of appointment, to my trustee hereinafter named, and trust for the following purposes. A. The trustee is directed to make, hold, manage, invest, and reinvest in the corpus of trust, and to collect the income therefrom, in accordance with the rights, powers, duties, authority, and discretion hereinafter set forth. The trustee is directed to pay all the expenses, taxes, and costs incurred in the management of the trust estate out of the income thereof. B. After payment of all expenses, taxes, and costs incurred in the management of the trust estate, the trustee is authorized to accumulate the net income, or to pay or apply much of the net income as such a portion of the principal at any time and from time to time for the health, education, support, and maintenance of welfare of 1. My daughter Lisa Marie Presley and any other lawful issue I might have. 2. My grandmother Minnie Mae Presley, my father Vernon E. Presley, and 4. Other such relatives of mine living at the time of my death, who in the absolute discretion of my trustee are in need of emergency assistance for any of the above mentioned purposes, and trustee is available to make such distribution without affecting the ability to trust to meet the present of the needs of the first 3 numbered categories of the beneficiaries herein mentioned, or to meet the reasonably accepted future needs, of the first 3 classes of the beneficiaries herein mentioned. Any decision of the trustee as to whether or not distribution shall be made, and also as to the amount of such distribution to any of the persons described hereunder, shall be final and conclusive, and shall not subject to question by any legatee or beneficiary hereunder. C. Upon the death of my father, Vernon E. Presley, he passed away 2 years after Elvis did. The trustee is instructed to make no further distributions to the 4th category of beneficiaries, and such beneficiaries shall have ceased to interest whatsoever in this trust. D. Upon the death of both my said father and my said grandmother, this trustee is directed to divide the residuary trust into separate and equal trusts, creating 1 such equal trust for each of my lawful children then surviving, and 1 such equal trust for the living issue collectively. If any, of any deceased child of mine, the share, if any, for the issue of any such deceased child shall immediately vest as such items in equal shares, but shall be subject to the provisions of item 5 herein. Separate books and records shall be kept for each trust, but it shall not be necessary that a physical division of the assets to be made as each trust. The trustee may from time to time be distributed the whole or any part of the net income or principal from each of the aforesaid trusts, and the trustee is the uncontrolled discretion considers necessary or desirable to provide for the comfortable support, education, maintenance, benefit, and general welfare of each of my children. Such distributions may be made directly to such... Once again, I'm fucking up. That's what I always do. Such beneficiary, or to any person standing in the place of a parent or the guardian of the person to such beneficiary, and without responsibility on my trustee to see the application of any such distributions, and in making such distributions, the trustee shall take into account all other sources of funds known by the trustee to be available for the respective beneficiary of such purpose. As each of my respective children attains the age of 25, and provide that both my father and grandmother be deceased, the trust created hereunder for such child shall terminate, and all remainder of the assets then contained in said trust shall be distributed to such child, so attaining the age of 25 years outright and free of further trust. If any of my children for whose benefit a trust has been created hereunder should die before attaining the age of 25, then the trust that's created for such child shall terminate on his death, and all remaining assets contained in trust shall be distributed outright, free of further trust, in equal shares to the surviving issue of such deceased child, but subject to the provisions of item 5 herein. But if there's no surviving issue, then the brothers and sisters of such deceased child in equal shares, the issue of any other deceased child being entitled collectively to the deceased parents' share. Nevertheless, if any distribution otherwise becomes payable outright in free trust under the provisions of this paragraph of this item 4 of my will to a beneficiary for whom the trustee is then administering for the trust benefit of such beneficiary, under the provisions of this last will and testament, such distribution shall not be paid outright to such beneficiary, but shall be added to and become part of the trust administered for such beneficiary by the trustee. Okay, let's keep it rolling. If any share of corpus or any trust established after this will becomes distributable outright and free of trust to any beneficiary before said beneficiary has attained the age of 18, then said share shall immediately vest in beneficiary. But the trustee shall retain possession of such share during the period of which the beneficiary is under the age of 18, and in the meantime shall use and expend so much of the income that the principal of each share as the trustee deems necessary and desirable for the care of, support, and education of such beneficiary, and any income not so expanded shall be added to the principal. The trustee shall have respect for each share, so retain all the power and discretion had with respect to trust such generally. So that's all I'm going to read today. I'm going to continue with part 2. I'm going to try and finish it next weekend, next Saturday. And I was supposed to do this episode yesterday, but I had some problems. So I'm on the regular scheduled timing, so to speak. Anyways, have a nice day.